When detectives asked Iyanna Colon what happened inside that apartment, she lowered her voice and said,
I don't really want to get into the detail because it's kind of traumatizing, just seeing what I saw and stuff, and I'll start getting emotional.
The detective didn't challenge her story head on. He simply repeated her own actions back to her.
And then he said something about a robe. He put him in his favorite robe.
That quiet reminder shattered the image she was trying to paint. This taps directly into inconsistency exposure theory, a psychological tactic where the detective uses the suspect's own words to reveal the lie they're hoping you don't notice. Iyanna wanted to sound panicked and powerless, but her actions, moving the body, putting him in the closet, and cleaning the whole apartment, told a different story. But the pertinent questions are who this demonic woman is, what happened on January the 18th, 2022, and how detectives psychologically trap her with a perfect bait.
21-year-old Kalamazoo woman is facing a murder charge tonight in the death of a man in his Portage apartment.
Welcome back to my channel. I don't have many followers, but your single comment is a ray of hope for me. A cold January morning of January 18th, 2022, with winter winds cutting across Portage, Michigan, 20-year-old Iyanna Colon walked into the Portage Police Department alongside her parents. Officers thought it was a simple check-in, until Iyanna's father handed them a folded note. Inside was an address and a warning. Someone inside the apartment might already be dead. Minutes later, just before 7 a.m., officers forced entry into the Briargate apartments.
Police Department! You okay, bud?
I have an empty bed, no mattress. Police Department!
Inside a closet, wrapped in his robe, they found 25-year-old Mon Alblowy, dead from strangulation.
Send medical in?
Yeah.
Send medical in, dispatch.
Iyanna claimed it was self-defense, a fight that spiraled out of control the night before. But the clean apartment, her calm behavior, and her shifting story painted a different picture. So, the cops brought her in for interrogation, and today, we will focus on the psychological elements of this interrogation.
Hi, my name's Derek Hess. I'm a detective here at the police department. I work with Detective Tafey. Okay. You doing okay?
Trying to.
Okay. This water and that other bar is for you if you wanted something to drink. Okay. So I heard a little bit about something that had gone on, but I don't really know all the facts yet, so that's kind of why I wanted to talk to you. Are you from Kalamazoo? Did you go to high school here? Did you graduate high school?
No.
No. What level did you get to in school?
Up to 12.
Up to 12th grade? Just a little short of finishing up? Have you gone to any college at all?
No.
No.
I got accepted into KVCC.
Well, that's good. Well, hey, one of the things with my job is to kind of figure out the truth out of everything. That's what we do every day, is figure out what happened to stuff, all across the city and in any different capacity as far as whatever it is. If something happened somewhere and we're tasked with figuring out what really happened, and one of the ways that we do that is talking to people. So I want to talk to you about what you've been up to lately. Okay. I see you got handcuffs on, and I know we're in a jail, so that changes things a little bit for me, only that I have to read you some things before we can talk. Is that okay? All right.
The detective begins with friendly small talk, asking about school, college, where she grew up, creating the illusion that this is just a casual conversation. By avoiding immediate confrontation, he keeps Iyanna relaxed enough to keep talking. This taps into social penetration theory, which explains how people disclose more when the interaction feels personal, not adversarial. The detective uses this to bypass her defensive walls and get her talking freely before she realizes how much she's revealing.
It says you have the right to remain silent. And it says anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned, and you can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Okay? Do you understand each of those that I read to you? You're shaking your head, but is that a yes? You understand each of them?
Yeah.
These rights and minds, do you wish to talk to me now?
I mean, I want to hear what was said.
Okay.
Or,
Well, the only thing that's been said is what your parents said. And I know that a lot of what they said came from you, but I mean, obviously you're the best source of information. So that's why I wanted to talk to you after either me or my partners talk to your parents. Does that make sense?
Mm.
I kind of want to hear it right from the horse's mouth, as they say, like get it right from the source.
right.
Is that fair? Okay. So having all these rights that I read to you in mind, are you willing to answer questions?
I don't know. I've never been in this predicament. So.
Right, yeah, no, I know. It's entirely up to you. It's one of those things that you can, if there's certain questions you don't want to answer, you can just say, I don't want to answer that. If you don't want to answer any questions, you don't have to. At any time, you can say, I don't want to talk to you anymore, and I'll leave. But if there are questions that you're willing to answer, I'm interested in hearing what your answers are. But it's entirely up to you.
Okay.
The detective repeatedly tells her, you don't have to answer that. Or, if there's something you don't want to answer, just say so. This is a strategic move. When suspects believe they're not being pressured, they relax and talk more. This tactic uses reactance theory, which states that when people feel their freedom is threatened, they resist, but when their freedom is emphasized, they comply more willingly. Iyanna talks more because she feels she's choosing to.
Basically, he just got really violent. I think he was on some type of drug. He was sitting down on a couch, and he charged at me. After I threw some water in his face.
Why?
Because he called me out my name and kept on turning on stuff, and just he knew stuff that was getting under my skin, basically. So anyway, I throw a little bit of water in his face, and he stands up, and that's when he just loses everything. He just charges at me. He starts pulling my hair. My head is all the way down here, and I start trying to fight him back, and it was the couch is right here, and the door is right here, and there's a bed right next to it. So it started initially from the couch. He charged at me, I landed on the bed, hit my head, and then he started to choke me out, and that's when I started fighting him back, trying to push him. So I pushed him successfully to the door, and he was reaching for the chain, trying to say I was hurting him. And I was what do you mean I'm hurting you? What do you mean? So just basically, just after that, he just went ham, and I blacked out, and I couldn't breathe. I had I choked really fucking hard. I could feel spit in the back of my throat, when he used both hands. So eventually he just stopped breathing. So
Instead of directly challenging her story, the detective spreads his questions slowly, isolating each part of her narrative: how she met him, the car ride, the music, the argument, the choking. By making her describe every segment separately, he increases the likelihood of contradictions. This is based on cognitive load theory. Lying requires more mental effort than telling the truth. By forcing a liar to add details, the brain becomes overloaded and cracks appear in the story.
all I can really like say, and it just made me like sadder just looking at him. And then I ended up like just moving and putting his favorite robe on him because I felt bad, but like when I'm put in a situation like that. I had to do what I had to do.
Okay. Who's he?
I met him, I want to say, McDonald's. I was working as a cashier there for like a couple months ago. And he came through the drive-thru and he ordered like a Big Mac or something. And I gave him my number like on a record receipt. And like we'd basically been hanging out and stuff. He always like would like admit these feelings to me and stuff, and I'll be like, just trying to be friends, and stuff like that. And he just really just like over time you would see how he would just change. I don't know how to like describe it, but it's like he went from sweet to like sociopath. Like he just wanted me around him, and I was just staying there so that I could just like have a place to stay for my job and like kick it, hang out with him. He's like a lonely guy, so I was just like hanging out with him, and and he just got crazier and crazier. And then I noticed like particularly within the past 3 days of hanging out with him that he would do like this with his nose, like this, like.
Iyanna pauses, hesitates, or uses filler words. The detective mirrors her tone and pacing. This subtle synchronization makes her feel understood and safe. People instinctively open up to those who match their speech patterns. This tactic uses communication accommodation theory, which proposes that people adjust their communication style to gain social approval. The detective mirrors her to build trust she doesn't realize is being manufactured.
He was like telling me like how he was doing like some kind of like he was trying to like provide for his family, stuff like that, but he was like scamming like and using fake IDs and stuff, and he always wanted me to like join in on it, but I would just be like, no, like. And I feel like gradually over time he would get mad at me because like sometimes like I feel like he thought I was using him or like something like that. So like even when I like asked him to go get some like Dollar Tree cleaning supplies and stuff, like he would like get an attitude, and I'd just be cleaning the house or cooking for him and stuff, and I don't know, it was just like I don't understand why that was a problem.
Okay.
But
So were you guys like dating?
no. The furthest thing that I allowed from him was like just a kiss on the cheek. We were not like dating or together, so.
Did he want it to be that? Did he want to have a romantic relationship with you?
I feel like in his head, he thought he could have a relationship with me or like potentially be with me, but like every time he like tried to lay under me and like get on the bed with me and stuff, like I don't know, like he'll like start touching my thigh and stuff, and I'll just be like, yo, you need to back up, like, and he just is a really touchy-feely person.
The detective never accuses Iyanna directly. Instead, he expresses mild confusion. I'm just trying to understand what happened, which prompts her to clarify her story. Because liars fear ambiguity, they overshare to cover perceived gaps. This plays on the self-verification theory, in which people feel compelled to affirm the version of themselves they're presenting, even if that version is false. Iyanna keeps talking to maintain the persona of the victim she's crafted.
What was going on at the apartment last night? You guys just hanging out, or what was up?
We were just like, we had came back from my friend's house, He left me out there for an hour. He said he had to go to a class for like an hour or something.
So you were at the apartment by yourself for an hour?
Yes, I was at my friend's apartment.
Oh, okay.
And he came back to get me, and the reason we left my friend's apartment was because he started a confrontation at my friend's apartment. Like, he would start doing this with his nose and stuff, and I'd be like, yo, are you okay? And, you know, stuff like that. And then he'll like pull down like his pants, like showing his boxers, like, so almost like his dick would like be seen and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like it just like made me feel uncomfortable, so I got into an argument with him at my friend's house, and then my friend started sticking up for him, so I was like, I feel out of place, so we might as well just go. So we left, and when we got back and stuff, I like had like the whole entire car like was just silence, no music, no nothing. And then as soon as we got back to the house, he like tried playing like this music, and like I'm a type of person, like I like peaceful music and, you know, stuff like that. And he's like the more like the violent, like upbeat music. I don't know how to explain it, but basically, I just asked him to turn the music down and stuff, and then he would just like be doing this with his teeth, like giving me these mean looks, and I'd be like, what is all that for? Like, so
He repeatedly asks her to walk through the sequence again, step by step, moment by moment. When she gives emotional summary, he pulls her back. And then what? After that, what happened next? This method is designed to expose fabricated elements. It leverages schema theory, which states that truthful memories follow natural cognitive patterns, while lies rely on rigid scripts that fall apart when re-examined out of order.
Place, and then I noticed like extremely like just weird patterns of behavior like after that. But yeah, and like that, I think really what set it off was either he was taking some drugs, and then just that situation on top of the drugs like just made him like act out of anger, and I don't think he was really paying mind to what he would say. Like he just seemed like off in the head, like he was just like laid back on the inside, but like just mean as hell on the outside. I don't know how to explain it.
You ever seen him like this before?
No, it was just like the past 3 days.
Drugs?
I didn't see him do any drugs. I saw him like smoke weed. Like he smokes like a ton of weed, like just back to back to back. And I would tell him like, yo, I'm on probation, I can't, you know what I'm saying, be around that and stuff. And like he'll even get like so disrespectful, like he'll just blow it in my face, like, and just be disrespectful. So I'll go try to open up the window, and he'll get mad at me for opening up the window. Like, and I'll be like, what do you expect? I'm not gonna like just sit in your face and then you're like smoking back to back. And I've only ever seen him use weed or cigarettes. Any other drugs besides that, no. And then promethazine, he was telling me a little bit about how he was like getting fake prescriptions from like doctors for promethazine.
Do with their promethazine?
I think like he would like sold it like to some of his like family members, or like he just drank it. He was like, I love lean, which is what they call promethazine. So.
Okay. Did you see him take promethazine, just like drink it?
I've never seen him take it. But
The detective doesn't confront Iyanna with evidence outright. Instead, he asks simple questions that subtly highlight inconsistencies, like asking whether she saw him use drugs when she already implied he was high. This tactic is based on Burke's pentad theory, which examines motives by dissecting scene, act, agent, agency, and purpose. By making her explain these elements separately, the detective exposes the fact that the drug-fueled attacker narrative doesn't hold up.
So things are not going well at the apartment. What time do you think this all kind of kicked off where he started getting mean last night?
I would say maybe like around 11:30 or 12.
Okay. And how did it start? Just with the name calling and stuff that you talked about?
Just like when I asked him to turn down the music, and I just wanted some peace and quiet, because like sometimes I just get anxious, like when like too much is going on and then the violent music is playing. It's just like I get like real fidgety, so I asked him to just turn it down or turn it off for a minute, and he was like, "Bitch, I'll do what I want in my house." Like, and I was just like, damn. So I got mad and I threw the water in his face, and that's what triggered everything. So
What's the next thing that happened?
what do you mean?
Like, what happened? You threw water in his face, and then what happened after that?
I just said what happened after that. He pulled me by my hair and charged at me.
Yeah, but I'm just looking for a little bit more detail.
He charged at me while he was sitting on the red couch. He was smoking a cigarette. He put out his cigarette after I threw the water on his face. And then he charged at me and tackled me onto the bed. And that's when he started pulling my hair. And then I like started fighting him back, and I like pushed him to the door, and he started grabbing the chain and like taking the chain off the door and shit. And then like he started doing this like around my neck.
Okay.
And then he like eventually like pushed me on the bed, and like he was like choking me. Like I hit my head on the wall, like, and he was just like, I could not breathe. Like I felt myself like swallowing spit in the back of my throat.
Okay.
And it was like life or death at that point. So I was just like.
Detectives purposely observe her tone and emotional responses as she recounts violent moments. Iyanna describes life or death struggle without panic, grief, or remorse. The detective's calm probing is intentional. It allows her emotional detachment to become more obvious. This tactic aligns with affect control theory, which analyzes how emotion and behavior mismatch social expectations. The bigger the mismatch, the more it signals deception or abnormal aggression.
Did you lose consciousness?
I was like, at one point in time, I'll say maybe for like 30 seconds, I just felt like my throat was like closing, and like I just couldn't breathe. So I was like freaking out. I started like pulling his hair, and then I like started choking him, and while he was choking me, I was just like, this is like beyond me. So
you don't think you lost consciousness?
I mean, that I lost consciousness or he lost consciousness?
You. While he was choking you, do you think you lost consciousness?
Yeah. Because my throat was closing, and I was just like, I could barely, like I started seeing colors and spit closing in the back of my throat. So I mean some kind of unconsciousness was there. Like it was just a life-threatening situation.
Okay. So how did that make you feel when all that was going on?
It made me feel really angry. I don't know like why he was that violent. Like towards me. It just made me feel like maybe like he just was acting sweet in the beginning, like just to like try to get me over his house. And then like I noticed like within the past 3 days, like how he was just like sexually touching me and trying to lay with me and stuff, which is like normal because like guys do that, you know. But I just feel like uncomfortable, and like if I tell you to like keep backing off, like, cause I've been through a lot of stuff, you know. Like I don't like being in a type of situation where I feel like I'm uncomfortable. And
Detective repeatedly asks Iyanna how she felt during the fight, not to show sympathy, but to draw out emotional contradictions. She says she was terrified, yet her tone remains flat and detached. By labeling emotions and comparing them with her delivery, the detective exposes mismatch. This technique is grounded in appraisal theory, which suggests emotions arise from interpretations of events. When her emotional descriptions don't align with her behavior, the detective knows the interpretation is false.
Anything while this fight was going on?
he said like, help, she's trying to kill me or something. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, he charged at me and was choking me. And then when I fought back, he tried going to the door and taking off the chain. That's where that transpired.
What do you think he was trying to do when he was taking the chain off the door? Was he trying to leave, or was he trying to do something else?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I just panicked, and then he started choking me. That's when he threw me on the bed, like trying to fight me off and stuff. And once he like started choking me, and like I couldn't breathe, and I felt my head hitting the back of the wall, like I was just like,
Detective frequently repeats her exact phrases back to her. You said he charged at you. You said you blacked out, but in a neutral tone. This anchors her to statements she can't take back. The underlying mechanism comes from consistency theory, which states that once people commit to a statement, they feel pressured to stay consistent, even if the statement is flawed. This traps Iyanna in her earlier claims and makes contradictions easier to expose later.
Okay. You said earlier that he went ham. And I think I know what that means, but I don't want to guess and put words in your mouth. So what does it mean when someone goes ham?
meaning like, what context was
You said he got angry at you and charged you, and then he went ham.
Ham as in like you could feel all the aggression, like with every move that he made. Like when he charged at me, I felt all the aggression and nerves in my body just be like, this is threatening. Like, and then just when he started pulling my hair and like getting real violent and had my head like all the way down here, like my shoulder was messing up. It still hurts. Like my neck hurts. And like, I just like, I don't want to feel anything. I don't want to like eat anything. I don't even want to like get any good sleep. And it's like, I don't know, like, I guess what I mean by ham is just like when you feel someone's like nerves and aggression just pass into you, like with their anger.
When Iyanna uses vague language, he went ham, I saw colors, it was traumatizing, the detective calmly asks, what do you mean by that? This forces her to re-explain the same moment with specific details. Every time she expands her story, new contradictions appear. This taps into cognitive dissonance theory, where maintaining a lie creates psychological tension, making each new explanation harder to keep consistent.
Have you ever been in a situation with him before where you would describe it as something similar? Like him going ham?
We were in an altercation where I would say maybe like 2 days or like 3 days before this fight.
Mm-hmm.
So basically for the first fight and stuff, like he would like just blow smoke in my face and like just like give me like these dirty looks, and then he'll like act all lovey-dovey, and like it was just like almost like a sociopath like kind of behavior. and like it made me feel uncomfortable. So I was like, why do you do that? Like you just act all mean and then you're like lovey-dovey and stuff. And he just got aggressive with his words. He was like, bitch, you're tripping and none of this, never that, and stuff like that. And I was like, so he got mad at me, and again, he came for me. Like, he charged at me, and he started pulling my hair. And I pulled out, I remember he said that, like, I pulled out one of his braids or something, like, loosened it. He had, like, braids in his hair or something. But, I think, like, he was just, like, upset from that, but like we eventually ended up letting each other go.
He prompts her with open-ended questions like, then what happened? And what do you think he was doing with the chain? These questions prevent her from giving short, rehearsed lines and force her to improvise. Liars struggle when they can't control the direction of the conversation. This is based on reality monitoring theory, which states that real memories contain sensory detail, while fabricated ones rely on reasoning and guesswork. Iyanna's descriptions become more artificial as she improvises.
That situation end?
No, I stayed there and it was just like kind of mute for like 30 minutes. And then he like came over to the bed where I was laying on and he was just like, do you want to talk about it? And, you know, stuff like that. And I'm like sort of hesitant to talk about it with him. And I'm just like, I don't know, like we admitted we were both in the wrong, like, and it shouldn't have got to where it got to, but it was kind of purposeless, like after it, because it was like the same behaviors would still continue the next 3 days or whatever. Like I don't know.
Nothing changed.
Yeah. And then every time he went to the bathroom, like he'll go take like a purse in the bathroom. I don't know why he took a purse in the bathroom, but
What do you mean?
like I don't know, like he'll take like a blunt, a cigarette, and then he'll take like a almost like a satchel into the bathroom. Like, and he never wanted me to open it. He always carried it with him. And I was just like,
Do you think he's got drugs in there or something?
I'm not sure.
No.
I'm not sure.
What's this satchel look like?
It was like a black leather.
Okay.
And
The detective strategically uses silence after she gives an answer. Iyanna, uncomfortable with pauses, rushes to fill the gap with extra information. Those voluntary additions reveal more about her mindset than the questions. This follows the disinhibition theory, where silence increases internal pressure, causing people to reveal more than they intend just to relieve discomfort.
The fight here last night. You guys are fighting. He's doing something with the chain on the door, and then all this other stuff happens where you're seeing colors and that sort of stuff. And then kind of what happens after that?
just like, I don't really want to get like into the detail because it's like kind of traumatizing, like just seeing what I saw and stuff, and like I'll start getting emotional, like, so I really don't want to like talk about like what I saw, but I felt wrong afterwards, but I knew that it was a threatening situation. Like, I just,
Okay.
yeah, I don't
So you had said at one point he had stopped breathing. And then he said something about a robe. You put him in his favorite robe.
Yeah, I had covered him up with his favorite robe and stuff. Like, I sat there for like an hour and a half, and I was just seeing like if he was gonna like, you know, open his eyes or blink or show some kind of sign movement, and it never happened. So I was just like, I felt terrible, you know, because it shouldn't have had to leave or get to that point. But it was just like,
What happened after that?
I put him in his favorite robe, and I took him off the bed and just like put him in a better place, like a fuzzier place.
When she emphasizes how he attacked her, the detective repeats her own words back. So you had him on the bed? You were holding him down? This repetition anchors her to statements that imply she had physical dominance. This tactic uses the principle of consistency, which argues that once people commit to a claim, they feel forced to stay consistent with it, even if it hurts their case.
I put him in the closet. And I put he was like in love with his dad.
With his dad?
And he had like a chain that he would wear. And it had like his picture on it. And so I just placed it over his back.
What happened after that?
I sat there and I cleaned like the entire apartment.
I thought you were just cleaned the day before.
No, he bought the cleaning supplies, but they weren't open or anything.
Okay.
I had like some wipes already in the house and stuff, so I just used that to like clean the other day, but before we got it.
So last night you said you cleaned the whole apartment?
Yes, I threw away cigarette butts and all of the excess trash that was spilled on the floor. He like knocked over a couple ashtrays, some candles, and I just like put it back all in place because like I felt bad for how it ended. So I just felt like, you know, he let me stay in his home, so like I thought I would just like take care of just the apartment, you know.
Okay.
Iyanna tries to steer the story back to his aggression. The detective quietly redirects the attention. But then you cleaned? Or you moved him so you could sleep? This forces her to confront the parts of the story she wants to avoid. It relies on the framing effect, where the same information becomes more incriminating depending on how it's presented. Her actions, moving a body, cleaning, texting friends, sound damning once reframed through the detective's questions.
Do you think that lasted that you were cleaning the apartment?
I would say maybe like 30 or 40 minutes.
Okay.
Like I just basically wiped tables down, just like cleaned or attempted to clean the bathroom, and then I just kind of like just sat there and cried and was just praying. So, because I didn't know what to do. Like, I'm like on probation and stuff. I don't want to like, you know, like I was scared to call last night, and you know, like I'm not used to like these situations or predicaments. So when it like just all transpired, it really hit me. Just like,
did you reach out to anybody last night?
I reached out to a couple people, and I was like, I need you to pray over me and just pray for closure. And I texted my mom and my dad good night. And it's just like I didn't want to like tell them like, hey, this happened tonight. And
Iyanna uses childlike phrases such as fuzzier place to soften the reality of hiding a body. The detective doesn't challenge the wording. He lets it sit. Allowing her euphemisms to stand emphasizes her emotional detachment. This tactic exploits euphemism theory, which explains how soft language can reveal avoidance of responsibility. The more she minimizes, the clearer her lack of remorse becomes.
I didn't have anywhere to go. And I tried falling asleep. So that's when I moved him from off the bed, because I can't sleep on the couch. And I just like tried.
Is there only one bed in the apartment?
Yes.
I haven't been there, so I'm not asking you a trick question or anything. I haven't been there. So when you wanted to sleep off the bed, that's when you moved him? Okay. So then what was happening through like real late at night or real early this morning? Like what was going on then?
Like I woke up like around 6:30, and I cause I had a probation call at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I set an alarm on my phone to just like remind me to wake up. And I had ended up leaving the house like kind of early after I like texted a couple people, and I was like, I need you, like I want to see you.
She becomes hesitant. The detective reassures her, "I'm not trying to trick you. If you don't want to answer something, you don't have to." This reduces her guard and encourages her to continue speaking. The foundation is benign violation theory, which explains that when a potential threat feels safe, people let down defenses and comply more willingly.
I can't say what's going to happen with that because we're not in charge of that. That's up to the prosecuting attorney's office.
All right. So
Okay. So I don't want you thinking like, oh, they threw me in jail. They must think I'm guilty of something. No, that's just what we have to do. We have to do that and then continue to do our job.
I understand it.
Okay.
I just like, I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable. Like I like this cell and stuff. Like I'd like solid, like a little bit of like solitude, so like I don't hear like too much noise, cause like it just makes my mind race a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, the good news is on the receiving side of the new jail, it's a lot more individual cells. So I think you'll probably have that. So it's not like you get thrown in general population right off the bat.
well, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with general population, just like maybe like.
But none of that's up to us either. That's the jail's rules. That's not our house, you know. So, any other questions for us?
Is there any way that I could like potentially like take a nap and?
Yeah, once you get out to the county, you can. Yep.
So how long before I'm like transported? Whatever.
Well, they're still working on the paperwork to get the photos and everything from you, and that'll take a little bit of time, and then you'll go out there. I mean, it's, like I said, it's 7:45, and I bet by 10 o'clock you're asleep.
Alright, and then as far as like the vaping part, like is there any way that I could have him escort me, like to just?
No, we can't do
They
anything.
wouldn't allow that. They may not even allow the vape in the building.
No, not in the jail, but like I'm talking about like right
here?
now.
No, we can't do that anymore.
Can't do that anymore.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so we can put you back in the cell you were in until someone else comes in, right?
At the end, the detective discusses jail procedures, how long she'll stay, when the prosecutor reviews cases, how noise levels work. This mundane, grounded discussion jolts suspects into a more realistic mindset, making denial harder to maintain. This rests on grounded cognition theory, which states that thinking becomes more accurate when tied to concrete physical realities. As she imagines jail logistics, her emotional facade cracks, and the weight of the crime becomes harder to escape. In the interrogation of Iyanna Colon, detectives methodically dismantled her narrative, leveraging her own words and behavior to build the case. They opened with non-confrontational rapport, then gradually guided her through chronological reconstruction, from the argument to the alleged choking to her actions after the death. Each vague phrase, filler word, and emotional disconnect was noted and contrasted with physical evidence from the scene. By anchoring her to her statements, exposing inconsistencies, and reframing her civilian demeanor in the context of homicide, the detectives achieved what courts demand: a suspect who has admitted facts, matched by forensic alignment, thereby paving a clearer path to proving intentional, not accidental killing. According to multiple news reports, Iyanna Colon was found guilty by a jury in early August 2023 of first-degree murder in the death of 25-year-old Salah Al-Blowi, following a confrontation at his Portage, Michigan apartment in January 2022. At sentencing, the Kalamazoo County Court imposed a life sentence, meaning she will spend the rest of her natural life in prison, without the possibility of release.